Alright, welcome back to Guido's Chop Shop, where we're heading into part 3 of the MK DSG build. And without further ado, this is what's coming up next. The plunger. Now, this just happens to be a plunger that I have lying around here. I may or may not decide to upgrade this to a better plunger at a later date, but it is what it is for now. The concept will be the same. Now, I guess this is the first time in the videos that I'm actually going to start entering into some modifications that are specific to DSG. This particular mod that I'm going to do here is about the teeth on the ladder of the plunger. So you can see here, hopefully, that there is obviously less teeth on a DSG than there is on a single sector gear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one's got 8 in this case, and being that the ladder gear is designed for something with like 15 teeth, you get to here and all these teeth from here on are superfluous. So none of those teeth are required. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grind them off. So what I'll do is I'll take my measurement of how many teeth I need, so winding this back through here. Okay, so that one there is the last tooth that I need, so I'm going to mark it. Well, sorry, that's the first tooth to come off, not the last tooth I need. This one's actually the last tooth I need. Because after that, when it gets to there, the plunger's going to slide back forward again. Okay, so I'm just going to pull the plunger out here. You may or may not be able to see the mark that I made on that tooth. It's that one there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ladder gear off the plunger and I'm going to grind those teeth off. You could probably do it with a Dremel in situ here, but I'm just going to take it off because I think it's going to be easier. So I'm going to just remove the Phillips screw from the inside of this here, and there will be a bearing in there as well. There's your bearing. And then the other half of the brace of the bearing. Now this head might be glued on, it might not be. In my case it was pretty easy to just pull it off. But yeah, you might have a bit of difficulty pulling that off if it is glued on. I do recommend putting a bit of Loctite in here when you reassemble this, because I have had these screws fall out the back and then mess things up. Alright, so that ladder gear should just slide out. There we go. Alright, now that's what I'm going to attack. Okay, so I've just got my gear clamped in a vise here, and I'm just going to get my Dremel and just take off those teeth that we don't need. Keep in mind that these are often hardened, so you can't really use a file to file them off. You have to grind them off with a grinder or something. So keep that in mind. Contact. Alright, so you've ground your teeth down. Always remember, it is a fashion show and you are being judged on this. So how pretty it looks is of utmost importance. So there you go. Coloured in nice and pretty. So you should be able to slide that back into your piston. Off camera. Slide it back in your piston and you should be able to see that you've only got the teeth that you need for your sector. So when your sector comes around, got the teeth it needs and none of the teeth that it doesn't. Alright, it's worth taking note, even though while you've got the thing apart here, the gears don't quite sit where they should and the plunger doesn't sit in the rails properly, but it is worth taking note of that engagement there, making sure that you are hitting that first tooth. I think it's actually the last tooth technically, but you're engaging correctly with that, and bang. So it's probably worth noting at this point that because you do only get this far before your piston shoots forward, you're not actually pulling the spring all the way back and compressing the spring all the way. So if you've got yourself a spring that would net you, say, 300 FPS for the single sector gear, on a dual sector gear you're actually only compressing that spring maybe a third of the way, half the way, a third of the way, give or take. So you're only actually going to get like maybe half to a third of the power from that spring that you would if you had the single sector gear. So the thing about the dual sector gear is that you trade off power for fire rate. So you get a lot more fire rate, but you less power. So if you did, I mean, everyone wants everything. You know what I mean? Everyone wants all things, always. And life is full of trade-offs. So if you did want to have a 300 FPS dual sector gear, then you would have to have a significantly stiffer spring. So yeah, you'd be looking upwards of M150 or, you know, like really heavy springs that you wouldn't even dream about using in a gel blaster with a single sector gear. So keep that in mind if you are going to do this. You're either going to lose a lot of FPS or you're going to have to get a hefty spring to get that back. Yeah, like I said, it's a trade-off. Alright, so that is plunger ready, well, almost ready. Don't forget to put your bearing back in and Loctite it, all that sort of good stuff. But yeah, I'll do that now. Yes, alright. Good, I think that's just about all I've got time for today. Unfortunately, that grinding did take a lot of my time, even though it was not entirely all on camera. It's been one hell of a boring video. It's also worth noting that this gearbox is incredibly hard to film because the lighting it's because it's so shiny. The lighting overexposes this section of the picture, and it's very difficult to get the color balance right with this thing in shot. All right. I think I'll leave it there, and when I see you again next time, we're gonna probably start looking at the tappet plate, because that's the next bit. Alright, peace out guys. Don't forget, I got patches. If you're looking to get a patch, hit me up on the Facebook. Also, if you want to support my channel, you can buy me a coffee. There will be the link down below. that Buy Me a Coffee page where you can make a donation to my channel. And don't forget to also subscribe and like and all that sort of good stuff, so that you will get notified next time I start working on this thing again. Alright, thank you very much, and peace.